a syllabi is something that is being refined from a curriculum. Now, how to teach the syllabi? That is when we talk about a pedagogy, the style. How you teach is what we call as a pedagogy. And under that, again, a lot of other things are coming like methodology, right? Teaching techniques, methods, all those things will also come into picture. So in the future, when we look at the pedagogy, even after the pandemic, blended learning is going to continue, right? It is going to be a combination of online as well as offline classes because of the benefits which we have gained, right? So earlier we were not very happy. We were doubtful about the effectiveness of an online class. Now, slowly, we know the right way of doing it. Now our children have more flexibility, they have more autonomy, they have more freedom, but there are also some areas we have to fix. So let this class be a place where we identify all the good things about an online program, and how even after the pandemic, even when students start coming to our campuses for offline sessions and all, how you can make use of this productively. Okay. And statistics also tells us that we are very high on blended learning in the future, right? India being the second largest country in the world when it comes to smartphone usage, right? And states like Kerala and Tamil Nadu, right, being the second and third when it comes to internet penetration in India, data from statistics and all are very, very positive, right? So this is going to continue, and this is actually good for teachers, right? Let us all make our mind ready to receive. Okay, let us move forward. Okay, so there are three things where we have to focus on. Number one is what I call as technology. Number three is what we call as processes. And number three is what we call as people. Out of the three, can you just give a comment in the chat box? Now we will make use of the chat box. And I want all the 299. Out of 299, 3-4 are actually from Ratna Sagar. Few are actually from the management side, but there are a lot of participants. So I want all of you to just give a comment in the chat box. You tell me out of these three, which one is more important for you as a teacher? Is it technology that is more important for you? Is it process that is more important for you? Or does the fundamentals remain the same? People, teachers, we are the people who are more and more important inside a classroom. So think it this way: inside a classroom, I'm not worried whether the classroom is offline or online. Inside a classroom, which one is important? Is it technology? Is it process? Or is it people? Can you give an answer for that in the chat box, not on the mic? Let me see how many people respond. In between, I have to make you to type something so that you don't sleep and then fall down from the chair. Maybe some people have logged in, they have kept their laptop or their camera fixed at one place, and nobody is near the system. Okay, can you respond in the chat box? Can you give me comments? Yes, can you give me comments? Just tell me which one is more important. All are important. Okay, process are important. Okay, all are important. People, process, teachers are more important. All these three are important. Okay, process are important. Okay, process, people. Nobody's focusing on technology, is it? Okay, so thank you very much. I'm very happy that when people are responding. See what is happening in the chat box. I'm afraid whether the Zoom chat box will crash. That is the way people are responding. Thank you very much, my teachers. So I got a mixed opinion. And here Bindu ma'am tells all are equally important, but when it comes to technology, I'm very sorry. Before I could read it, a lot of other chats came in. Yeah. So I'm very happy that you're responding. All the three are important. All are important. People. All the three are important. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. We feel very happy. We feel very excited when you give answers. Right? Thank you very much. God bless you all. May Lord Almighty bless you all. Now, I'll tell you my perspective. Our fundamentals still remain the same. Right? So please understand, even though it looks like, I mean, most of you have given me the right answer. You are telling the process and the people are more important than the technology. And you're right, my dear teachers. Right? So when we talk about pedagogy or teaching style, we are talking only about integrating technology in our pedagogy and not the vice versa. Right? So whatever we are, let's say for example, Zoom at this point of time, it is helping me to take this class better. Right? So technology is there only to supplement you. A teacher will never be supplanted. Our fundamentals still remain the same. The competencies, the qualities, the skills which a teacher should possess remains the same. But the order of your competencies that have changed, right? So let us see what all things are there in that list. Okay, let us move forward. Okay, and before we move forward, let me also tell you uh, the purpose of this program. So this is no big secret. We all know that there is some kind of direct correlation between a teacher's professional competence and the student's achievement inside a classroom. We all create all other professions, but first of all, what a teacher has to understand is that a teacher is also a professional, right? So my professional competence is pretty much connected with what my students will achieve inside a classroom. When I tell my students are achieving something, I'm not only talking about the cognitive part. I'm not only talking about the marks. I'm talking from a very holistic point of view. I'm talking about all the skills, all the qualities, all the values which they need if they want to succeed in life. Success means different things to different people, right? I did my MBA from Christ University Institute of Management. I'm an MBA from the very famed Christ University. They are the 15th best university in India at this point of time as per the latest rankings and all. But if I am able to talk to you, that is not because of my MBA. Even though inside my profile I've written I've done my MBA from so and so college, if I'm able to talk to you, that is because of my schooling. I was taught by extraordinary, exceptional teachers in my school, right?
Then,
And in my school,
wait,
my
wait.
teachers not only taught you the subject. Someone's mic is on. Srija, ma'am, I'm muting you. Sorry for that. Okay. So I'm a person who believes that we're all products of our family first. Second, we're all products of our school. After schooling, students will go for professional life, right? They'll go for studying a degree program, PG program, but their real character, their personality, their values, they have got it from the school. School is a place, if you want to acquire any new kind of skill, like say for example communication, I got this from my school, not from my college. And that is where the role of a teacher in a school becomes more and more significant. So these are the 5 dimensions of a teacher's work. Number one is to facilitate student learning. We do that. Number two is to assess their performance. Number three, co-curricular, extracurricular activities to make sure that skills are also developed. Because if your student knows only to study, chances that he will fail in his life is going to be very, very high. Okay. And then handling parents. Number four, partnerships with the school community. And somehow we don't give much of importance to engaging in professional learning. When I talk about professional learning, I'm not only talking about your subject, I'm also talking about digital or technical skills, which are actually the need of the hour today, right? So this equation has to change. And the National Education Policy 2020 talks about CPD, continuous professional development for teachers. So be prepared to receive a lot of webinars, attend a lot of workshops, make your mind ready for that because our domain is going to change like anything. Let us move forward. Okay, so these are all some opportunities for us. These are all opportunities of this blended learning space. Because of the pandemic and because of the disruption that happened in learning, because we started teaching online, and at this point of time when we follow blended learning, these are all opportunities we have in front of us. Our students have an option to become more and more smarter, right? They have more flexibility when it comes to attending a program, right? Learning becomes more and more relevant for them. They're motivated to learn by themselves. They take complete responsibility of learning. Creativity, innovation uh, has improved a lot inside our classroom. There is improved retention because we give a lot of importance to activities, right? So when there is more of hands-on experiential learning, there is more of memory retention. Classrooms have become more and more engaging, and we can give more personalized content to them. And we do understand that learning styles are different, and it is possible for us using technology to actually condense information in such a way that we cater to different learning styles. We can track the progress of student effectively using softwares, using artificial intelligence, and all these things are actually helping him in student employability. By the time he passes out of the school, he might have got something really meaningful. Okay, so let me move forward. And I want you to have a close look on the screen. I hope my screen is visible. Can someone tell me what can you make out from this image? You can use a mic or you can chat in the comment box. This is actually from a story which is very familiar to us. We all have read the story. We have taught the story to our students inside our classroom. Can someone tell me what this small picture about an elephant is all about? You can share it on the mic or you can chat it out in the chat box. I'll prefer some of you to talk. What comes to your mind when I show this to you?
Yes, sir.
Yes, please.
If
Hello,
nobody else is
sir.
answering, I will answer.
Yes, yes, yes. Please continue.
Yeah,
Sir,
that is how we perceive things.
Okay, it's all about how we perceive things. Yes, you're right. Yeah. Someone else wanted to tell something. I heard the voice of a sir. Right? Do we have responses in the chat box? Let me check. No, no response in the chat box.
I am still
Okay.
Reggie. Well, I feel it is the difference of perception. Like
Okay. Difference of perception. You're right. Yeah.
attitude makes the changes.
Okay. Attitude difference in. Okay. Fine. Yes. Perception. Yeah. Anything else? Anything else? Does a story come to your mind?
Yes,
Yes. Which story is that?
sir,
Story of three
it's a
blind
a
people.
story
blind
told by
person.
Gandhiji.
Yeah,
Yeah, you're
how
right.
blind people felt they heard about the elephant and they felt the
Yes.
different parts of the elephant, and one said the leg, the elephant is like a pillar. The other one said
Okay.
that's a
Yes, yes,
story.
yes. Yeah, okay. Okay. Ma'am is right. Sir is right. This is actually the story of the six blind men and the elephant. Right. So they were arguing how an elephant looks like. And finally, it so happened that they got an opportunity to interact with an elephant. So different people touched different areas. And someone told the horn is like a spear, right? The trunk is like a snake, right? The ear is like a fawn, the body is like a brick wall, the tail is like a rope, right? This is how we define learning. Please understand, perceptions are different for different people, right? And if you are a teacher who can make sense out of all these things, if you can connect all the pieces together, that is when real learning actually happens inside a classroom. Thank you very much for responding. We didn't clap for these people who responded. Can we clap? Can we clap? Okay. I'll also check maybe uh, we have okay, how things are observed, different perception, individual differences. Oh, thank you very much. Thank you very much. A lot of people have responded in the chat box as well. God bless you. Let's move forward. So my topic, finally we get started here. How to make sure that you actually get the second kind of an attention from students. How to make sure that our children are more engaged. How to make our classroom an interactive one. That is what I'll talk about. Okay, now I will give you 1 minute of time. I'll give you 1 minute of time. Please take a sheet of paper and a pen. I'll give you 1 minute of time. Please take a sheet of paper and a pen. And I want you to write down an answer for the question in that small sheet of paper. How will you describe an ideal classroom just using words? Say, for example, let me make this question a bit more clear to you. So this time, I don't want you to think as a teacher. All this point of time, you were responding to me as a teacher. Now let us park the teacher for the time being. And from here on, we are students. As a student, just think about a classroom which you would love to be part of. If you ask me as a student, Prasid, what kind of a classroom do you need? I will tell I need a classroom where I can laugh a lot, a very active classroom where I have a lot of discussions, where I also have a role to play. So likewise, I want you to write down few words in that notebook or in your sheet of paper, which describes what kind of a classroom will a student would love to be a part of. That is what I call as an ideal classroom. Only using words, I want you to write it down, right? The moment you get 5 words, you can stop. The moment you get 5 words, you can stop. And I'm giving exactly 1 minute of time. Your time starts now. Please keep writing. Five words which will describe a classroom of a student's dream. You have 30 more seconds. 30 more seconds.
So I think these words may help the classroom. That means freedom, happy, interactive, confident, active, and energetic classroom.
Okay, okay. Yes, yes, yes. Now, can everyone just type out of 5, you just take the most relevant one, right? Out of 5 you have written right now. I want you to take just one out of the 5, and that has to be put inside the chat box. Let's see what all ideas comes in. So already a teacher has told on the mic what all are the 3 points. Okay, in the chat box, we have load of answers. Okay, thank you very much. So interaction, maximum number of participants, ideas to express, opportunity to each student, integrated classroom, interaction, acceptance, friendly classroom, child-centered classroom, happiness, caring teacher, individual attention, positive place, motivation, right? Exploring something, freedom, learner-centered, responsibility, curiosity, listening, lively class. Okay. Yes, yes, yes. So there are more answers, more answers. Interactive, energetic teacher, happy classrooms, connection with real life situation. Thank you for that. Simi ma'am, thank you very much for that. Entertaining, opportunity for every child, positive, confident. Oh, I love you all. What a response we have. I'm very happy that you all are a participant in my class today. Yes, engaging, happy, confidence, right? Fun in learning. Yes, our new vision document talks about fun-based learning, gamification, right? Challenging, right? Above all, confidence matters. Positive stocks, I underline that, positive stocks, right? Teacher with a smiling face, confidence, friendly, enjoyable. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much. I'm very happy that you're responding. Can we have a clap for everybody? Can we have a clap for all the people who are responding? Claps, claps, claps. Yes. So I will show you now something really beautiful. There are more answers. I'm really sorry. The speed with which I'm getting the messages, I'm finding it very difficult to read everything, but I tried my best to read out some of your points. Thank you very much for responding. So I got a very urgent call. Okay. So I was gifted by a lot of opportunities by Mr. Sandeep. I remember coming to Trivandrum in the month of January, February, March, and he gave me lot of opportunities to interact with students. And I came to your city, and there I was interacting with a lot of students. The topic of my discussion was actually on exam preparation. So during my classes, what we both did, we went to students, and during the break time, as a friend, both of us, myself and then Sandeep, what we did, we interacted with the students And then we ask them, what is your perspective? In what kind of a classroom would you love to be a part of? And see what all words they have given me. I think all these points are there in the comments which you have got in the chat box. So they told us, sir, as a student, we need a classroom where we can laugh a lot, emotional classroom, active classroom, learning by doing, imagination, creativity, discussions inside a classroom. Mistakes are okay. My teacher is very kind. I should feel motivated in the presence of my teacher. I love the experience of being inside a classroom. I should be able to set my goals. I enjoy the presence of my teacher. Variety of instructions inside a classroom. I have a voice and choice. And one student also told me, sir, no teacher is required inside a class. Maybe he didn't understood the seriousness of my question. And these children, they never knew that, I'll take this information. They never thought that I'll show this to students. So we all agree on this, that, we all are traveling in the same direction. Our thoughts are aligned at the same point. So we went one step ahead again. And then we asked them, what is your actual experience these days in a classroom? And we asked this to them during the lunch break. The first question during the recess, and the second question during the lunch break. And this is what they shared with me. I think. Yeah. So I asked them, what is your actual experience? And they came to a class. If you recollect, November, December, January, February, March, at that point of time, our students had started coming back to the school. I'm talking about the senior students. And they are here after listening to a teacher for 6 to 7 months online. So I asked them, how was that experience of listening to teachers online? And they told me, sir, classes are very boring. Sleeping, daily listening, only listening, taking notes. Why am I here? I hate class. And these are all realities. They play games when we are talking. They surf a lot on the internet. Teacher is taking something, but they are actually searching something on the internet. It is a waste of time. Why am I telling this to you? I don't have any plans to make fun of you. I don't have any plans to make a mockery of you. I'm not telling that teachers are not doing a wonderful job. Teachers are doing an exceptional job. Let us take real pride in being a teacher. Right? We are doing everything possible, but still there are areas probably we can improve. And we are talking about those possibilities inside a classroom. We are trying our best, but we are now trying to stretch our limits. The more we stretch our limits are going to expand. That is what Robin Sharma tells inside a book with the name Who Will Cry When You Die. Right? So let us have a small discussion on that. So what all things have to be kept in mind. Now, this is a very famous quote by E.M. Forster. He tells, spoon feeding in the long run teaches us nothing but the shape of the spoon. And there are still schools at this point of time, even after the pandemic, they're all planning to continue with the same process, right? And if you still continue with rote learning, right, with spoon feeding, what they'll remember is just the shape of the spoon. That is what E.M. Forster tells us. Let's move forward. So let us now be a bit more focused with our discussions. So we are now going to talk for the next 1 hour of time, because see, you have attended a program, and after the program, you might have got something which is very practical enough so that I can use this in my current classroom, right? My class is going to be helpful to you only if you get something which you can practically use inside a classroom. So before your class starts, what all little things you should take care of? This is what we will discuss starting today. Don't check the watch. When it is time, I will wind up. So don't check the watch and then look on the screen. The way some people look at me, I feel like I'm a terrorist, Lashkar-e-Taiba, right? Many people don't smile. Many people have switched off the camera. Can we turn on the cameras again? Turn on the cameras. I want to see that smile, that lovely smile on your face. That is my motivation to go forward, right? So far, is it going fine? Yes or no? Just tell me on the mic. So far,
Yes,
are
sir.
you happy listening to me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Only few people are responding. How about others?
Yes, sir. No, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
It is good.
Yes, sir.
No boring, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So from here onwards, our discussion is going to be focused. Before entering a classroom, during our class when we teach online, after an online program, what all things we should be taking care of. That is what we'll discuss. Number one is making your students ready to receive. Make your students ready to receive. You might have planned your class well. You have a very good lesson plan. You have the best slide. You planned a lot of activities. You have idea about how you will take a class. You have done a good number of hours of preparation. But if your students are not ready to receive, all your preparation is going in vain. When I take classes for students, what I understood is most of them, they listen to me, they're lying down on the bed and then they're listening to me, right? Majority don't have an organized study space at home. For learning to be receptive, please make sure that your students have an organized study space at home. They have a table and chair, but none of them make use of it. They don't follow a routine. They have no idea what time they sleep, what time they wake up early in the morning, right? They have no idea which all subjects, which all teachers will come for taking class today, right? An organized study space is step number one in online teaching, right? So your first class in the new academic year, now the new academic year has already started, but take a pause, right? Your next class, take 15-20 minutes of time to share these small little ideas with them about the importance of a very organized study space, importance of a very organized routine. Because when you do an activity at the same place at the same time every day, that activity becomes a habit, right? When I do an activity more or less at the same time at the same place, it becomes a habit. So slowly studying should also become a habit, right? Most of them, they don't listen to you using an earphone or a headphone. Now this is very, very important. Chances that they will get distracted is very high if they're not using an earphone or a headphone. Please make sure that your students are avoiding all the distractions before they start listening to you. I'm not talking about noise coming from outside. I'm talking about distractions. Suppose they are on a mobile phone. Most of them, they listen to you on a mobile phone. You take a typical high school students, someone's mic is on. What will I do? Sister Marina, Sister Divya. Maybe it happened by mistake, but that is okay. We will mute them for the time being. Yes. So what was I telling? Yes. You take a typical high school student's mobile phone. I can guarantee you that on an average, they might be having 3 to 4 games installed. They are there on almost all social media platforms like Instagram, Facebook, and all, right? Just one message, one pop-up, one notification on the screen is all that is required for them to be disengaged from your class. So when I'm talking about cutting out the noise, I'm talking about killing all the distractions, including the notifications which pop up on the screen, on the computer or on the phone, right? These things are mandatory. These are things which we take for granted. We think as teachers that, you're taking a class, the students are there, they're all listening to you. Unfortunately, that is not what is happening. So making your students receptive to learning, ready to receive is step number one. Let us see what is step number two. In step number two, give a lot of importance to student inventory. When I was doing my MBA program from my college, see, we have classes till noon time only. Evening session after lunch, we were having mentoring sessions by experts. And these mentors never used to talk about the subject. These mentors were either teachers who taught the senior students, or they were from the different campus, or they were from the industry. And my mentor, his name was Dr. Anirban Ghatak. He came from Calcutta. And it was very important for him that before every mentoring class for 3 hours every day, he will collect all the information in the first interaction with the student. So the first class is not about topics, discussions. The first class was all about collecting all the information about each and every student. See, we teachers are very good when it comes to collecting. See, we know our students better. We know more about their family background. We know their siblings. We know their family status, their background, the value system, the culture they have, all those things we're good at. But as teachers, we should also focus on some or other things. That is what I call as a student inventory. My mentor always used to collect me information, at least on a monthly basis, about what is my goal in life, what kind of skills should I possess at this point of time, am I doing something to reach my goal in life, do I have any kind of hobby, Do I have any kind of habit? Do I have subjects or areas of interest? This information has to be collected from each and every student of yours. Because if you don't connect what you're teaching with the student inventory, then the classroom is going to be really, really boring for them, right? So every time when you talk about a new information, that should make sense to him, right? So that real life connection should come. Every time when you teach something new, you can ask questions like, Mr. Prasid, you want to become an entrepreneur in your life. How is this new piece of information useful for you, right? So there are a lot of student inventory templates available on the internet. You do a random search, you'll get a wonderful template, collect information about the students, right? You have to know each and every student detail, right? Only then your lesson plan is going to make sense to you. What all other little things we have to take care? Give a lot of importance to procedures inside a classroom, right? In an online classroom, we cannot have rules. We have only procedures. If you want to answer my question, what will you do, right? If you want to answer to someone else's question, what is the procedure, right? Am I allowed to use the chat? What language, including the grammar, I should follow inside the chat box? All these things are very, very important. Make students ready with a lot of questions before you start the class. I hope you remember in your offline classrooms and all, what you used to do was this. You will tell towards the end of your class that tomorrow I'll be covering this topic. Please read pages 10 to 15 and then come to the class. Majority will not read and come. But there is one 10% category. They will take some time to read what is there in the textbook and they come to the next class. They have not got everything. But what they have in their mind is a mind full of questions. These questions are a very important part in learning. So how can we do this right now in our classroom? Suppose you are making use of a Google Classroom. You can share, you can upload a document, 2-page document for them to read before the class starts, maybe the previous day, the previous night. Or you can think about sharing an article with them, link of an article, a small piece of information for them to read, number of pages in the textbooks they have to read and come. Or you can go for a poll, or you can go for a survey, or you can go for a questionnaire, or you can give a very small assignment for them to do. Simple assignments. Don't go for projects and all, right? Because you have not taught them what is the concept. Simple assignments they can do. So they all will come prepared for the class. A student who has questions, he will be automatically motivated to listen to the teacher. So make sure that before you get started with your program, the very next day, at least 1 day, 2 days back, you have to give them activities to make sure that questions are there ready in his mind. We assume that students are making good notes when you're taking a class online. But unfortunately, my dear teachers, it is not happening. Now, suppose a student doesn't love to write. Not every student love to write continuously for hours, right? For them, as a teacher, you can be creative. You can tell this to the student. Suppose if you don't love to write down something, you can go for other techniques. Say, for example, sketch noting. Sketch noting is used as a tool when it comes to note making. How do I do that? I'm not supposed to write down anything. I will only draw images of the concept which my teacher is talking to me. When you draw something, it sinks deeper inside. There are also many other methods like brain writing, right? This is called sketch noting. Please note this down. Make students record your voice on the smartphone. Not every time possible. Maybe they have only one phone at home. Now, suppose they have an option to use a separate spare phone. We all have voice recorders inside this, right? Turn on the voice recorder and record the voice of the teacher. I'm not telling your Zoom or Google Meet class has to be recorded. I'm talking about making use of a voice recorder function inside a smartphone. Record the voice of your teacher. So after the class, when he is preparing his fair notes, right? When you teach, what he makes is a rough note. That has to be made as a fair note. At that point of time, suppose he missed some information, he can listen to the voice of the teacher again and he can fill the gaps. So these are small, fundamental, basic things we have to keep in mind when we are planning. Your online classes should be like TED Talks. I hope you know what is a TED. TED is a place where great ideas are being shared. TED is a platform where anyone with an innovative idea, anyone, I mean, Dr. Shashi Tharoor's TED Talk is very, very famous. What you see here on the screen is late Sir Ken Robinson. TED Talks education. I've never seen a TED Talk exceeding more than 20 minutes of time, right? In a TED platform, we have the best speakers in the world. And those 20 minutes of time, they will not even allow the audience to move. Audience, they are simply hypnotized by the way they present something. So 1/3 of the total time, or 20 minutes, right? That's the time that we should make use of when we are talking to students online. Your class might be for 30 minutes or 40 minutes or even for 1 hour, but the content, theory, presentation part has to be limited somehow to 20 minutes. Attention span is coming down over the years for adults, right? So think about children then, right? How to make use of the remaining time, that we'll discuss very soon. Okay, make students responsible for their learning. I'll give you a small piece of information for you to read. Okay, before that, let me stop sharing this and have a look on the screen. Let me see whether the parent of Saked, Shija ma'am, Purnima ma'am, Megha ma'am, sister Archana, I have the same complaint about you. You don't smile. Yes. Is it going fine so far? Can I continue? We started with discussions. Now we have to make sure that some content has to be there. Otherwise,
ഒരു സൈഡ് ചോക്ക് ഒരു സൈഡ് പെന്നും ആണ്.
ഇത് എന്നോടാണോ പറയുന്നത്? Okay, രണ്ട് സൈഡ് ഉണ്ടെന്നൊക്കെ പറഞ്ഞപ്പോഴേ I was wondering what happened.
The class is interesting, sir. Surely interesting.
സർ ഒരു കാര്യം പറഞ്ഞോട്ടെ. സർ ഇവിടെ നല്ല ഇടി പൊട്ടുന്നുണ്ടേ.
Okay.
അപ്പൊ അഥവാ ഞങ്ങള് ക്ലാസ്സിന് പുറത്തായ ഒന്ന് ഉള്ളിലേക്ക് കയറ്റണേ.
നമ്മുടെ ക്ലാസ് റൂമിന് ശരിക്കും പറഞ്ഞിട്ടുണ്ടെങ്കിൽ വെയിറ്റിംഗ് റൂം ഇല്ല. ഇതിന്റെ കപ്പാസിറ്റി എന്ന് പറയുന്നത് 300 ആണ്. By any chance you log out, you can log in, right? I don't have to admit. Automatically will come inside.
Okay, this നല്ല ഇടിയുണ്ട്. അപ്പം we don't know. ഇപ്പൊ ഗാഡ്ജറ്റ്സ് പെട്ടെന്ന് ഓഫ് ചെയ്യേണ്ടി വരുമോ എന്നറിയില്ല.
No problem, no problem.
Okay.
Right. God is with us, right? This is a blessed Saturday morning. Nothing is going to happen. We all will be here together. Okay. Right. Yeah, just move. I mean, some people, you know, they're like those old Nokia 1600 Dabba phones you have used. Some people don't move. Okay, just move this way, that way I can see that you are there. Or you give me a thumbs up on the screen. That is motivation for me to continue. Is it going well so far? Will you sleep and then fall down from the chair? And teachers are gifted, you know, teachers can sleep with eyes wide open. We don't know whether the teacher is sleeping or hibernating. It's all going fine so far, right? Can I continue? I hope my class is useful for you. Can I continue? Just give me a thumbs up using both your hands. Yes, yes. Look at sister. Look at sister Archana now. Now she knows how to respond. Yes. Thank you very much. God bless you. So let me move back to the presentation. This is how my screen looks like. I hope you can see my screen. Just try to read what is there on the screen. It's a bit faded because I took a screenshot. You are seeing a Sanskrit sloka on the screen. Can someone read this loud for everybody? Anybody can try. I hope you can see my screen. Yes or no? Yes or no?
Acharyat.
Yes, yes. Please continue. Please continue. You're right.
One minute, sir. Acharyat Padamadate Padam Shishyaha.
Okay.
Samedhya.
Wonderful.
Maha
Sabraharabhya
Padam Padam Kalakramene Cha.
Wonderful. I tried asking this to a lot of teachers in workshops, but nobody responded. Okay. So can we have a clap for this teacher? Before I tell you how to clap, already people are there. Is it the same person who told the answer? Now she is clapping by herself, or everyone is joining? Thank you very much. Now, can you tell me what is the meaning of this? Can you tell me what is the meaning of this? Padam doesn't mean feet. Now, if I don't tell this to
follows his teacher.
Acharya.
In the long run, a student follows his teacher.
Okay, okay. Another perspective, another perspective, another person. What it means actually? Padam doesn't mean
What
feet.
you
Why am I
told-
telling this to you is because if I don't tell you that Padam doesn't mean feet, then all the teachers will tell the same thing, right? We have to touch the feet of the teacher. Yes, yes. Someone is telling something. Please continue.
What you sow, so shall you reap. If you are a good teacher, definitely the children will follow your path.
You have just you're not inside the field, you're on the boundary right now, right? Acharyat padamadate. Padam means 1/4, not half. Padam means 1/4. Acharyat padamadate.
Follow?
Padam
Follow.
shishya sometheya. Intelligence. Sab brahmachari, 1/4 from sab brahmachari. Student, friend. Last 1/4. Kalakramena jabit time. Now you tell me.
Okay.
This is a Sanskrit
What a
shloka
man,
that was
what a man is 1/4 of his teacher,
okay.
1/4 of his surroundings,
Okay.
1/4 of his intelligence,
Okay.
and 1/4 of his potentiality.
Thank you very much. So it goes like this: Acharyat padamadate, padam shishya somedaya, sabbrahmacharintyam padam, padam kalakramena cha. How we learn is very, very important. We learn only 1/4 from a teacher, 1/4 from my own intelligence, the next 1/4 from my peer, my friend in my classroom. The last 1/4 I learned this with time. It is the same thing that all the boards are talking about. CBSE, ICSE, state board, they're all talking the same. Sabbrahmacharintyam padam, peer learning, right? Collaborative learning, kalakramenaja, experiential learning, right? Hands-on learning, it means the same. So what is the goal of teaching? The ultimate goal of teaching is actually to improve learnability. Can someone tell me what is the meaning of the word learnability? What does it mean? Learnability means what? Learnability.
Ability to learn.
Ability to learn. Just continue. You're almost there.
Ability to learn from life, from experience.
Okay, it means your ability to learn by yourself. So
Yeah.
what is the ultimate purpose of a teacher inside a classroom? We have to reach a stage where students can actually learn by themselves. Especially when it comes to online teaching, we have to make sure that students are taking more responsibility inside an online platform. Right? The complete responsibility of learning is actually with them. Let me also give you one more example. Suppose I give you 4 names. Can you tell me what is the connection between these 4 people? Number 1, I'm going to talk about a person called Ekalavya. Ekalavya, story is very familiar. The greatest disciple of Dronacharya from the Indian mythology, Ekalavya. Second example, Jeff Bezos, founder of Amazon company, richest man in the world. Jeff Bezos is his name. Third name is that of Wright brothers, right? Wright brothers, the people who came out with an aeroplane, Wright brothers. And point number 4, I will give an example of a person with the name Leonardo da Vinci, the artist of Mona Lisa painting. So Ekalavya, Jeff Bezos, Wright brothers, Leonardo da Vinci. What connects all of them?
Self-learning.
Self-learning. Thank you very much for that. They were all people who were self-taught. And that is why I gave an example of Ekalavya. Right? They are known as autodidact. Autodidact is a person who can learn by himself. So you are a good teacher if after some time inside the classroom, you become invisible. And learning should happen inside a classroom by themselves. Okay. Now this is how self-directed learning looks like. So the students will establish their goals. Students will find resources, human or materialistic. They will actually come out with plans. They will monitor their performance, not at the end, during the process. And if some kind of motivation has to be made, again, this will be done by students. Now that is about what we need before a class is being taught, right? When we plan what all things we have to keep in mind, this is what we discuss. So let us also take a moment to rewind. Okay. Yes, let me mute. Just give me a second, I'll have to mute. Okay. Maybe it happens by mistake. Okay, so this is what we have discussed so far. Before your class, when you plan, what all things you should keep in mind. First of all, you should think about making your students ready to receive. So you should tell them importance of an organized study space. importance of a routine, avoiding all kind of distractions, listening to you on a headphone or using an earphone. Then we talked about the importance of a student inventory. Inside Google, you have a lot of templates available. You can search and then you can pull out one. With every student, you have to go for a student inventory. Focus more on the goal, the skill where he wants to reach. And when we teach, connect our lessons with what he actually wants. Then we talked about the importance of procedures inside a classroom. And now we also discussed about why and how you can actually come out with questions inside a classroom, making them ready with questions before the class actually starts. And then importance of note making, sketch noting, brain writing, as well as recording the voice of teacher on the phone. And then we talked about the content presentation part that has to be limited for 20 minutes of time. And we were all talking minutes before about the importance of self-learning, making students responsible for their learning. So far, is it clear? Just tell me on the mic. So far, is it clear? Or just you just give a comment in the chat box.
Yes,
Can I
sir.
continue?
Yes,
Can
sir.
I continue?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes,
Yes, sir.
So don't check the watch every time. When it is ready, I will stop. When I'm done with my deck, I will stop the presentation. Don't check the watch this time. We are learning something really wonderful. So we are entering the crux of our program. When you teach, what all things you should keep in mind. The biggest enemy to learning is a talking teacher. These are the words of the very famous John Holt. Please write down the name of a book which I will recommend for you to read straight away. You can order this on Amazon. How Children Learn. How Children Learn by a person called John Holt, Johnholt. He tells the biggest enemy to learning is a talking teacher. Human being has got the potential to learn anything. Human animal is a learning animal. What kills the process of learning are the people who interfere in the process of learning. It might be a parent, it might be a colleague, it might be a teacher. Right? So that is the real meaning. It doesn't mean that you should keep quiet inside a class. Okay. So few things we have to keep in mind when we take a class. These are not new for you. I will only focus on a few. Learning modalities, learning styles have to be kept in mind. There has to be different variety of instructions inside a classroom. Design engaging activities, encourage students to ask questions. The other day, I had an interaction with teachers, and it happened in Kollam. I forgot the name of the school. I met a teacher in my classroom, and she gave this idea to me. She tells, sir, to encourage students to ask more and more questions, you know what I do? I give online badges to them. I give online badges. So I asked her, how can you make an online badge? And she tells her, there are a lot of websites, right? So she tells, to all those students who are asking intelligent questions to me inside my classroom, I give online badges to them. So how is it possible? And she tells, there are a lot of websites available. I'll just type a few here in the chat box so that you can use this. Please write it down, note this down somewhere. Okay, there are a lot of websites available. The first one is called badge.design. Okay, I typed it. Then there is something called Accredible. Then there is something called Design Hill. Then there is something called MocoFun, right? You just remember, very importantly, badge.design, easy to remember. So badge.design is a website. If you go there, you can drag, you can drop, you can create your own online badges in any color, any shape. You can type anything, very easy to use, drag and use kind of a website. And you know what she does? She will design badges. She will give this to them after the class. The next day when they come for training inside Google Meet is their mode of instruction. Inside Google Meet, when they come for the next day's class, children have to wear their online badges. They can't wear it on the chest because it is a digital badge. So what do? Instead of their profile picture, the teacher has told them, replace your profile picture with the online badge which I gave you yesterday. 35 students are there inside a classroom. The next day when all of them come to listen to the teacher, let us say out of 35, 12 people got badges. So on Google Meet, when you put gallery view, out of 35, 12 people are there with badges. That is some healthy motivation for others as well to listen better, prepare better so that they can ask questions. So the teacher has achieved all the purpose. If I want to ask intelligent questions, I have to be prepared before the class. That is the same thing what we all teachers need. I want the student to be prepared even before the class. So he will read, prepare and come, right? If I want to ask an intelligent question, the only option I have is to listen. If I hear from my teacher, I cannot ask questions. I will have to be very active inside my classroom. Only then I can ask questions, right? So teachers can be very, very creative, right? Make use of online badges, give it to them. That is motivation for them to ask questions inside a classroom. Now, I was also talking about giving activities. Please be very careful when you give activities to your students. Suppose your class is for 40 minutes. You gave your presentation in the first 20 minutes of time. Now, when you look at it, you still have 20 more minutes of time, right? Let's imagine for the first 5 minutes that was devoted for taking attendance. So now the time is, after 20 minutes of presentation, 25, 30 minutes. Now you have 10 more minutes of time, 40 minutes of a class. So now you are thinking, I have 10 minutes of time, I'll give an activity for 5 minutes. To brief about an activity for 5 minutes, you need 5 minutes of time. Children will ask a lot of questions. They're very intelligent, very brilliant. They will not do the activity in 5 minutes. They will either need into 2 or into 3 times time. So they'll finish it in 10 minutes or 15 minutes. Let's take 10 minutes for time being. And the teacher has to summarize. If the teacher doesn't summarize, there is no learning inside a classroom. When someone asks them, how's the class? They'll tell, good class. Teacher gave activities. What have you learned? That we don't know. So just imagine 5 minutes on activity has now taken 20 minutes of time. So please be very mindful when you give activities. Limit it to 2-3 minutes. It should be very simple. You should be able to explain it with clarity, very quickly, very simple. Activities has to be included. Okay. When it comes to your pedagogy, give a lot of importance to storytelling. I don't know why this happens. Every time when we hear this word storytelling, don't you think that we immediately connect this with the lower classes? Don't you think that we immediately make a connect with English language, literature, history and all? Please understand, storytelling is the #1 prescribed pedagogy in NEP 2020, right? Because human brain is bombarded with 4 billion bytes of information every second. Out of that, only 2000 seconds that gets registered. So any information that is going to be emotionally engaging, that is why we use stories to communicate something, because it is emotionally engaging. It makes a lot of meaning to him. Any positive or negative comment is going to stay in his mind. I met a teacher the other day inside a classroom. She is teaching in the lower classes. She is teaching the mathematics. She wants to teach children shapes. She cooked up a story. She made a story where a family is going for a dinner, right? And then they ordered different kinds of food to eat. Grandfather ordered chapati, roti, circle in shape. Grandmother is having dosa. Dosa, when I fold it from one end, it looks like a cone. Children are eating sweets. Jalebi, they are spiral. Right? Barfi is a square. Samosa is like a triangle. Right? Steam cake, it is cylindrical. How beautifully she framed a story. Right? So stories are there, not only possible in English language, literature, or in subjects like history. Stories are also possible in subjects like chemistry, physics, and mathematics, just that you have to think and you have to be creative. It's very easy to take a concept through stories. Be an excellent storyteller starting today. Think about cooking stories, right? When you cook food at home, also think about cooking stories for children. Let us move forward. You have to integrate different subjects when you are teaching. It's very, very important. What you find on the screen, it's all compartmentalized, a pigeon house, right? I don't have any idea what is happening in the next cabin. We teach them physics, chemistry, biology, all of these things separately. Children, when they look back, they don't have any clue how these subjects are connected. In your BA training program, try to remember, in your BA training program, you learned about subject integration. And you also learned in your BA training program 4 levels of integration. Can someone recollect and tell me? 4 levels of integration. Intradisciplinary, I'll give the first one to you. Intradisciplinary, second is multidisciplinary. Third is
Interdisciplinary.
interdisciplinary. Thank you. And the last one is transdisciplinary. Interdisciplinary, multidisciplinary, transdisciplinary, intradisciplinary. Let's look at intradisciplinary. When I teach a subject, every concept within the subject which are connected can be taught together. Say, for example, mathematics, percentages, profit and loss, decimals can be taught together. Right? Multidisciplinary approach. You have to find out a theme and then you have to connect different subjects. Say, for example, a small theme like water. Water is there not only in chemistry, it is there in English, also in history. Battles fought for water. Right? Circle as a theme is there in different subjects. You have to integrate and then teach. Right? So earlier we were all specialists. Now we are a specialist at the same time. We are also a generalist. Right? So earlier, if you are a master of your subject, you will survive in a school. Now time is demanding you to be somebody with lot of interdisciplinary knowledge, interdisciplinary integration, right? Learning lies at the intersection of different subjects. All these things are very, very important. How you integrate within different subjects, within the same topic, all those things are very, very important. Okay, now have a look at these streams which I have given on the screen. Please have a close look on all these courses of the future. These are all going to be courses which our students will study 5 years, 10 years from now. Can you identify one common thing in all these options? Data analytics, econometrics, artificial intelligence, data visualization or augmented reality, bioinformatics, ecotechnology, biometrics, it goes on. Right? What is a common element in all of them? What is your observation about all these courses here?
Technology.
All ICS.
Technology.
All based on
Yes.
technology.
Analytics.
All based on.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
Informatics, biometrics, robotics, all tricks.
Okay. You have done research again. Fine. Okay. It means very simple. All these courses are interdisciplinary courses. Say, for example, right now we have biochemistry, biology, and then chemistry. Interdisciplinary. Same way, if you look at data analytics, it has mathematics, statistics, and then IT. Econometrics, economics, statistics, mathematics. Right? Industrial psychology, management plus psychology. Right? IT plus forensic science. So in the future, our students are all going to learn courses which are going to be interdisciplinary in nature. As teachers, when we teach as well, we have to give them a bigger picture of things. Let's move forward. Okay. Now, another way of making our classes engaging, interesting, is actually to inculcate conceptual images inside a classroom. Right? I want you to observe the image, what you're seeing right now on the screen. Just imagine you're taking a class online. You are actually portraying an image like this on full screen mode on your computer or on your system. Please have a close look on this. All of you teachers, 300 of us, all of us, let us all ponder our heads. Let us all have a very close look on the screen. Can you tell me what all subjects can you teach? What all areas can you teach from a small little image like this? Or what all questions or what all things will your students come up with when you show an image? This is an art, an image like this, a conceptual image like this on the screen. Please give me your ideas. Please observe very closely. You can teach them a lot of things using a single image. Please try, my dear teachers. Please try to understand what is it I'm trying to communicate using a small image like this. All the teachers who are sleeping, wake up, look on the screen, shout loud your answers, or share it with me in the chat box. What can you teach your students from this small image?
Economic activities.
Economic activities, you're right. Yes, then.
Balance of so many things.
Coexistence, balance of, yeah, then.
Agriculture.
What is it? What is it?
Sir, occupational structure.
Occupational structure. Yes, you're right. Then
Life skills.
life skills. Okay, yes. Then social skills, life skills. Yes. Please observe closely. You'll get more answers. We have answers in the chat box also. Let me read it out.
Bringing out an equilibrium in the various fields of life.
Okay, bringing equilibrium. Okay, yes. Unity, values, different societies. EVS, different cultures. Yes, we got answers in the chat box also. Any other observation? Any other observation?
The unlimited, knowledge is unlimited.
Okay, knowledge
The
being
tree
unlimited.
shows that it is infinite. Knowledge is infinite,
It is.
and
Knowledge is infinite. Yeah.
and
You're right.
there is infinite growth. There is scope for infinite growth.
Yes, yes, you're right. You're right. So let me read the answers I got in the chat box. They're telling I can teach them social science. I can talk to them about agriculture, mathematics, environment, creativity, spontaneity, cultures, shapes, interdependent. Yes, unity, dependence, lot of answers. Different situation of life, unity, conserving nature, value of dependency, EVS, shapes. Yeah, thank you very much. I'm very happy. Social, maths, values. I'm very happy that you're responding. This is actually life in a village. That is based on a concept of Gomata. Life in a village, they have shown this as a tree. Daily course in a village, that is what you're seeing at this point of time. Right? All those things which a common villager sees in a day. That is why he even finds a aeroplane moving on top of him in the sky. Right? So you can depend on conceptual images like this when you take a class. Not every image will help you to teach. You have to go for images like this, or you can search something. Please write it down. The name is Gond painting. G-O-N-D. I repeat again, G-O-N-D. Gond paintings from the Gond tribe in Madhya Pradesh. Their paintings are very thematic. You'll get a lot of options, lot of materials to teach. Last year in 2020, Dilip Shyam is a Gond artist. His painting was taken as United Nations Climate Conference logo in 2020. Right. So another way is to make use of conceptual images. You can get more of attention from students. You can teach better. Or let us look at some other ways. You can make use of small toys like this. What you see here on the screen are the very beautiful, lovely Kondapalli toys. Kondapalli toys are actually from Kondapalli in Andhra Pradesh. And then we have something called Channapatna toys from Karnataka. And Rajasthani wooden toys are also there. I've taken an example of a Kondapalli toy. Different toys are there. I didn't get a single image, so I've put everything together. Now tell me, what all things can you teach using a toy like this? You can show this to students online, or offline you can bring and keep this on your table. What can you teach them?
Life in a village. Life in a village.
Then
the different occupations one are involved
occupation,
Agriculture.
yes.
Agricultural activities.
The work
activities.
of housewives work. The work she is involved in.
Yes, you're right.
Culture, different culture.
Culture, you're right.
Cultures.
Art,
Yeah.
Art, yes. Different art.
Importance of
Area and
Yes.
number.
Area, come again, ma'am.
Area of the land and the number of person, number, smaller classes number, and
Very good, very good. That is a new perspective, right? Area of the land, the number of people. Very good, very good. I think she deserves a clap for that wonderful idea. Please clap for her. That was great. That's something new I'm getting from an audience. Okay. In the chat box, we have something called different cultures, miniature of a cultural activity, different cultures, more or less the same set of answers. We have response in the chat box as well. It's raining very heavily, even here. But that is not going to stop us from learning. A lot of people are commented. Thank you very much. God bless you. So if I give you more time, then it will give you more answers, right? Modes of transport, art here, agriculture, food we eat, yeah, water, dressing.
People sharing the work among themselves.
Yes, thank you very much. God bless you. That was a lovely answer. So
Water.
different sources of water. Yes, modes of transport. So the more we progress, we are going to get more and more ideas. So this is another way of making our presentations a bit more exciting. You can make use of small toys like this. Kondapalli toys Channapatna toys, Rajasthani toys, right? Kondapalli, Channapatna, and then Rajasthani toys. You can make use of that. Now let us move forward. Let us see what all other things we can make use of. You can make use of graphic organizers. Graphic organizer. An example is a mind map. We already make use of a lot of graphic organizers like the pie chart, the graphs, Venn diagrams, right? That we use inside a classroom. They're all graphic organizers, but look for a heightened version like a mind map. So rather than giving a lot of points on the slide or rather than talking continuously, think about presenting using a single mind map. How can I draw a mind map? There is a website called Poplet. I'll show that, don't worry. There is something called Poplet where teachers can draw mind maps. You can download it, you can paste it inside your presentation. Okay, so mind maps are very useful because these are more conceptual, especially in science and mathematics, especially in science when we teach them a process. It's very, very important to make use of a mind map. Okay, you can use a fishbone diagram. It is called Ishikawa diagram, fishbone diagram, cause effect diagram, problem solution diagram, different names. Fishbone diagram, easy to remember. Fish is born, right? You can use this for problem solving. You can give a problem to your student and ask them to come out with solutions for that. This is a Japanese concept, I believe. Then there is a Chinese concept. The name is called 5 times why. 5 principle, right? You ask why to a problem 5 times. By the time you reach the 5th why, you will actually get an answer for your problem. Somebody is telling something. Okay, yeah. You can make use of timelines to teach. Timeline in subjects like history. This is a COVID timeline. You all have seen a timeline. You can use this in a subject like history. Different wars that happened in the past. Different dynasties which ruled the world, which ruled India. Right? You can use this in chemistry also. Different elements which got added to the periodic table. Right? So these are all some ideas you can make use of when you are actually presenting inside a classroom. After the class. Right? Okay. Let me pause for a moment. I have to cross check whether people are sleeping or listening to me. Let me see how you look like. Vidhu ma'am is about to sleep and fall down. Mini ma'am. Oppo A83. We don't know her name. Yes, Kavita ma'am. Can I continue for another 10-15 minutes? By that time I'll be done. 10-15 minutes of your time.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
You can continue.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
I do understand you're all teachers, even though you are telling this to me that we are with you, we are following you. Somewhere I found the motivation level has gone down. So let me share a video. I am equipped with a lot of things. Right. So let me play a video and then I will continue to the last thing. Okay. So I will play something from a film. This is very familiar to you. The name of the film you'll figure out by yourself. It talks about how to teach. Okay, how to teach from a very famous Bollywood film. Okay, let us listen to a video, then we'll come back. Let us relax for 3-4 minutes of it. Okay, I understand the thing. Just give me a second. Audio is clear, I believe. I paused it now.
3 Idiots.
3 Idiots.
I can actually hear a lot of people are talking.
Pirates taking.
Can you mute your mic? Can you mute your mic, everybody?
3 Idiots, sir.
3 Idiots.
Fine. Can you mute your mic for the time being, everybody? Fine. I'll play it for you now. Yes. Be good students. Yes.
वेदनसन प्लीज सिट डाउन। आज हमारे बीच एक ऐसे लीडर है जिनका मानना है कि वो हमारे हाईली क्वालिफाइड टीचर से बेहतर पढ़ा सकते हैं। तो आज प्रोफेसर रणछोड़ दास छाछड़ हमें इंजीनियरिंग सिखाएंगे। We do not have all day.
आपके पास 30 सेकंड है बोर्ड पे लिखे हुए शब्दों का मतलब समझाना है। आप चाहें तो किताब का इस्तेमाल कर सकते हैं। जिसे जवाब मिलेगा वो हाथ ऊपर करेगा। देखते हैं कौन फर्स्ट आता है और कौन लास्ट। योर टाइम स्टार्ट्स नाउ। टाइम अप सर, टाइम अप। क्या किसी को जवाब नहीं मिला? अब अपनी लाइफ का 1 मिनट रिवाइंड करो और सोचो। जब मैंने ये सवाल पूछा, किसी ने ये सोचा कि आज कुछ नया सीखने को मिलेगा, मजा आएगा? एनीवन? नहीं, सब रेस में लग गए। ऐसे पढ़ के फर्स्ट आ भी गए तो क्या फायदा? आप लोगों की नॉलेज बढ़ेगी? नहीं, सिर्फ प्रेशर बढ़ेगा। और ये कॉलेज है, प्रेशर को करना। अरे त्याबुक के डर से तो सर्कस का शेर भी उछल के कुर्सी पर बैठना सीख जाता है। लेकिन ऐसे शेर को हम वेल ट्रेन्ड कहते हैं, वेल एजुकेटेड नहीं।
हेलो, दिस इज नॉट अ फिलोसफी क्लास। उन 2 वर्ड्स का मतलब बताओ बस।
सर ऐसे कोई वर्ड्स है नहीं सर, ये तो मेरे दोस्तों के नाम है, फरहान और राजू।
ऐसे पढ़ाओगे इंजीनियरिंग?
नहीं सर, मैं आपको इंजीनियरिंग नहीं पढ़ा रहा था सर, वो तो आप मुझसे बेहतर जानते हैं। मैं तो आपको ये पढ़ा रहा था कि पढ़ाते कैसे। और मुझे यकीन है कि आप एक दिन जरूर सीखेंगे सर, क्योंकि मैं अपने कमजोर स्टूडेंट्स का हाथ कभी नहीं छोड़ता।
So thank you very much for listening to that small video. Thanks again to that person who gave us also additional background. Even now there is a music that is there in the background. So thank you very much for listening. I will take another 10 more minutes of your time. With that I'll be done. Okay, few more things, a few more tools which we can use inside a classroom. That also has to be shared, right? So motivation is a thumbs up for me to continue. Thumbs up for me to continue. Both the hands. Yes, thank you. Yes, let us move forward. And just give me a second. Just give me a second. I think I close the slide. Yeah. More people have turned on the videos, cameras. So that is motivation for me to continue. 10 more minutes. Okay, we discussed about a lot of ideas here today, but few more things are important. Otherwise, the class remains incomplete. Okay, so let me move back. Let me share my screen. Yeah. After the class, what all little things have to be kept in mind? All those things. After the class, the next task we have as a teacher is actually to give assignments. When you give homeworks to your children, please make sure that you give choice to them. Say, for example, something that looks like this. This is what we call as a homework choice board. It is not as a homework grid. So here what the teacher has done is, the teacher has given a total of 16 choices, 4 into 4. 16 options are there for the students to pick from. You can take any 5 out of 16. Let us not think about 16 and all. That is a huge number. We don't get time for that. But let us think about the possibility of 3 or 5. Right? 1 out of 3, 2 out of 5. Because not every student would love to write down something and then submit. Let me check. The person is making the noise. Galaxy M31. Teachers are very smart, they don't write down their name. So we won't even figure out who they are. Okay. So let us think about possibility of 5 options or 3 options. 1 from 3 or 2 from 5. That is possible. Not every student would love to write and then submit an assignment. Some love to draw, some love to paint, some want to solve a problem, some would love to solve a Sudoku, right? Some want to do a project. So that has to be taken into consideration. So give options for them. And you tell your students, you take any 2 out of 5. You decide which one you have to do. So now he has a freedom, right? He has now a choice. And then he will pick things which are more relevant to him. He will be motivated to do the assignment. You'll get it much before time also, right? So think about a homework choice board or a homework grid next time when you plan a homework. But all these 5 or 3 options or 16 options should be taking our students to the same destination. So you know the destination where your students should reach. For that, I'll make use of 3 to 5 options. That is what we're talking about. Let us move forward. Okay. So please make sure that even after the class, the conversation should continue. They should never see a full stop, right? Make them practice what they've done. Because see, if you just give information, see, you give information, if they're listening, that becomes knowledge. That becomes information. You give data, if they listen to you, data becomes information. Only when they practice, that information becomes knowledge. So the focus of a teacher is more on the output, more than the process. The focus should be on the output of it. Okay. As a teacher, be a self-critic. Always take feedbacks. Ask them, children, how is my class going? Do you want some kind of improvement? So when they get this confidence that my teacher is also learning along with me, they'll definitely listen to you. I had a teacher in my school, and he is known for doing n number of PG programs. I think he has some 17, 18 PG diploma, PG programs and all, right? The other day I got his visiting card. One side of the visiting card is full of the courses, right? But when inside the classroom, when he tells that I'm still learning, I'm doing my MSc in psychology, right? I did my MA in literature. So what kind of a feeling a student gets? My teacher is also learning every day. Please understand, you can never claim that you are a master of your subject. You did your BA training program, you learned your degree program many, many years back. Your subject has evolved like anything. Now, suppose you have a PhD. You did your PhD maybe 5 years or 10 years back. You did your PhD on a problem. That problem maybe doesn't exist at this point of time. So that's what is the point in having a PhD? But please understand, teaching has got a twin. The name of the twin is research, right? The point is not that you should have a PhD. The point is this, that you should be a person who is always involved in some kind of research. The more you research about your subject, the next day, even for the same subject, even for the same topic, you will come out with a different example. That is what makes us taller as a teacher. Now I'll take a few minutes of time and I'll talk about few applications. See, there are a lot of applications, but many are paid applications. And there are a lot of applications which cannot be easily used. I'll give you the things which are practically possible for you to use. There is no point in learning about something which we cannot use, right? It has to be very simple. And when you integrate technology inside a classroom also, please make sure that there is some purpose. Don't integrate, don't put in an application for the sake of putting in something. ThinkLink is my first example. ThinkLink is an application where you can take a static image like this, and you can make a static image a dynamic image. So say here, for example, I took an image and all these buttons, what you see here, these are all known as hotspots. So I can bring in an image inside the image. I can add a video inside this. I can give the hyperlink, or I can type something by myself. These are known as hotspots. So when I share this with the students, or when I present this to my students, every time when I click on something, it's a new information that comes up. So variety of things about the topic. The content can be organized in such beautiful way that they learn through images, videos, extra materials, and also from your content which you have typed inside. Not the name. ThinkLink is a name. You can use this in your presentation, or you can share the link with the students in the WhatsApp group and all. Every time when they click on something, they'll get a new pop-up, new information, right? So tingling is a name. And then for assignments, you can think about something called a book creator also. Book creator allows you to publish a book online. Very simple. You can drag and drop, you can color, paint and all, right? So here towards the right, you will find the teacher taught him respiratory system. The assignment is given in book creator. The child goes home, uploads his own photograph, and on top of his own photograph, he draws something. So this is a fun way of doing something. He will never forget respiratory system in his entire life, right? So book creator is a name. And after doing the assignment, he can publish this online. See, we all are on Facebook, Instagram, and all of the social platforms and all. Even though you complain, or even though you lie to your principals that we are not on technology, we are not using social media and all, almost every teacher is there on Instagram, not to post anything, but to see what others are doing. Okay, we are all teachers. Suppose you posted something on Instagram. You posted your photo. You're very curious to know how many people liked it, how many views I got, how many people shared it. Suppose I put a status on my phone. After 10 minutes, I'll see how many people was able to see my status. Same concept. When they publish something online, they're very curious to know how many of his friends have read it. Did I get 5 stars? Did I get 4 stars? How many people shared my article? All those things are there. And in book creator, he is also having an option to read other book creations by his friends. Okay, book creator is a name. If you want to make your presentations a bit more colorful, 360-degree presentations you want to give, you can depend on something called a Prezi, right? Instead of MS PowerPoint or Google Slides, you can download Prezi. Prezi is very easy to use. There are a lot of images and themes which are already there inside this. Based on different subjects, you can drag, you can draw things, you can give 360-degree moving presentations, right? So you can zoom in, zoom out. These are all very colorful visual presentations. Canva, I believe, is very familiar to you. This can be used for designing anything, like they have mentioned on the website, design anything. You can design videos, talking presentations, right? A lot of options are there inside Canva. But more than Canva, I would recommend something called a Padlet, P-A-D-L-E-T. P-A-D-L-E-T. Padlet is a name for the same purpose, for designing a presentation, for editing a video, to come up with talking presentations. You have a lot of options there. And this is what I talked about when I was talking about mind maps. You can depend on an application called Poplet, P-O-P-P-L-E-T. Very simple, very easy to use. You can draw mind maps by yourself inside this, or you can give assignment to students. Log into Poplet, create your mind map, download it, or share the link with our friends in the group. So every time when a new student clicks on a new mind map, it's a new set of information, same information categorized in a different way, which actually builds their critical thinking and all those things. Same like we have whiteboard, blackboard and all. I mean, you might have seen even inside Zoom, we have whiteboards. Google Meet also we have. So this is not a virtual board. This is a virtual sticker board, right? It is like you're sticking sticky notes onto a notice board, a virtual sticker board. So teacher can ask a question, children can give answers, and sticky notes, they can paste it. A very lovely application. You can use it for free. Linoit as a name, or teacher can go for brainstorming. You can do a lot of things creatively inside a Linoit. It is a virtual sticker board. And the last one, what I call as Edpuzzle. Edpuzzle can be used for assessments. You can upload a video. You can see how many children have watched that video, how many times, for what duration, that can be tracked. You can connect Edpuzzle from your Google Classroom and vice versa. Edpuzzle is a name. So to sum up today's discussion, it is not only the domain that is important for teacher. Earlier, it was the depth that mattered. You're good with your subject, then you're a good teacher. Now, time demands us to have broad skill. It's called a T-shaped skill, where your willingness and your ability to connect your classroom with other subjects, your willingness to work outside your comfort zone, outside your core area, is going to make you a great teacher. So let me wind up with today's presentation with a wonderful quote by Saint Francis of Assisi. Saint Francis, he tells, start by doing what is necessary, then what's possible, and suddenly you are doing the impossible, right? So today onwards, let this sink deep inside our mind. Start by doing what is necessary, and then rather than being a positive thinker, be a possibility thinker. Then see what is possible. And then suddenly you're ending at a stage where you have already started doing the impossible. So with that, I would love to thank God Almighty for giving this a platform for all of us to be under the same umbrella to listen to for continuously for 2 hours of time. Let me thank our senior sales manager, Mr. Sandeep from Ratnasagar family. Let me shout loud, give my huge round of applause, my thanks and gratitude to Sister Bincy, who was actually the coordinator of this program, because I don't know how many times I can even show you the proof. Okay, I don't know how many times she called me. The kind of planning, the kind of effort that was put in by the management. Especially, I'll especially mention the name of Sister Bincy. Right, she has taken a wonderful job. She has done a wonderful job. She every single day calling me, telling me, sir, this is what you should talk. This is what I feel. And always she gave me the freedom to make sure that my class will continue without any kind of interruption. So thank you. My special mention to the coordinator of today's event. Now, let me not waste much of your time. I will share my mic back to the host. Right, I believe Sister Bincy is here. Yes, she's there.
Yes,
and behind her, we have Sister Litty as well. Okay, can we, before we move to the conclusion part of this, can you ask some of the teachers to share a small feedback, not the vote of thanks, a small observation feedback about the class, how it went, was as useful for everyone. Can 2-3 teachers, with the permission of Sister Bincy, if you can insist, call out some people, or you can ask randomly. All those options you have, Sister Bincy. I want to know how it went.
Yes, sir. You are free to do that. Before that, I would like to say that our provincial Sister Veena is here with us. Actually, she wanted to join at the beginning itself, but due to some technical problem, she could not. Now, let me ask her to speak first, sir. Proceed, sir. Sister Veena,
the mic is in your hands. You decide. You decide. Yeah.
Sister Veena is there?
Yes.
Yes, Sister Veena.
Yes, I'm here. I'm here.
Sister Shirley's name, Shirley PV.
So, good afternoon, sir, and to all my teachers. I'm happy that everybody is present here, and I'm very, very inspired. And all the time I was looking at it, and very, very interesting way you have taken the class, sir, Mr. Prasid Prasad. And I'm happy to mention the name of Mr. Sandeep and the faculty of Ratnasagar. When I was teaching, I too had a collaboration with this publication. So I'm very, very happy that you have taken a class which is very, very inspiring and a model for all our teachers. How to be in this digital platform effectively. And you have done it very well and very interesting. We are sure that everybody enjoyed it. And 2 hours in a short time, like, it went on. And we are at the last session. And very, very happy. And thank you, sir, for making such an inspiring and useful and a model class for them. And all the teachers will be now giving you feedback. For me, it's kind of enlightenment, the way how to take class in this new normal class. So, wish you all the best, my dear teacher. I see Mr. Sandeep there. Thank you very much for bringing such an efficient teacher, Mr. Prasid Prasad. And I understood that you are next CMI. The way you speak can communicate those values. So thank you very much, sir, and Mr. Sandeep Nair, and all the faculty of Ratnasagar. And I thank each one of my dear teachers who are participating in it. I see that you are very vibrant in participating in these sessions. And God bless you to continue I am taking the inspiration from him, continue the whole year with more technology, more updating yourself and giving values to the students and also life to the students, and let them also participate as you have participated in this class. Okay, thank you very much. Wish you all the best. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, sir, very much for your kind words. Thank you, sister.
Thank you, Sister Veena, for your blissful words. We were expecting you right at the beginning, but it's okay that we are happy to hear you at the end. Okay, dear beloved teachers, I think almost 300 we were there, maximum participation we had, and some of us, like 3 of us, were joining here together in one system, in one device. I think so that participation may be much more than 300. So I invite teachers. I am quite sure that this session was very useful, and Mr. Prasid has given us many techniques and tools for the improvement of our teaching learning process. I welcome you, dear teachers, to share your suggestions or your remarks on it. Before we go for the final vote of thanks, I invite you.
Yes. Good afternoon, sir, and dear Sister Binsi. I'm Sheila, teacher from Jodhinalayam Senior Secondary School, Trivandrum. Sister, you know us. Thank you, sister, for arranging such a nice training program. It was very informative and interesting also. Thank you, sir, for that a nice class. Thank you, sister. Okay.
Okay, teacher. Thank you, Sheila, teacher. I remember you all. Anybody else?
Yes,
Before we
sister,
move on
thank
to
you.
the official vote of thanks, you can share your views, teachers, please.
Sister Binsi, 1 minute. I take this opportunity to thank you also, Sister Binsi, for arranging all this every day, updating and bringing this day as a wonderful day for all of us. Thank you.
Sister,
Okay,
you have
other
given me
teachers,
freedom,
please
that's right.
continue.
Thank you, sister, also. Okay, teachers, please. Teachers, please share your views.
Hello, Sister Binsi.
Yes, teacher, please.
Vandana from Earthline Kannur. Thank you for this wonderful session. And the teacher who took class for us was very motivating, a very pleasant person who kept on encouraging us. And once again, thanks to the Earthline management for finding such a good person for us. And we hope we will be motivated to keep the classes updated with technology and make it beneficial for our students. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Vandana teacher. Thank you for your powerful interaction also. It was a motivation for all of us. Anybody else? It is already, we are reaching time. Anybody else want to share anything? Only 1 or 2 persons can share. Then we will move on to the official vote of thanks.
Thank you, sir. I am Prabita from Earthline Kannur. I felt like you have locked us onto the screen, and that was a wonderful lock. That was what I felt, because usually, as you told, we always keep the microphone off and the camera off, and just we'll be busy sometimes, right? But this was whole throughout we were listening. It was really informative for me, and especially, sir, the thing that you have given us, the technological part of it, the different apps and different things that we can utilize in the class. Thank you, sir. Thank you, and that pleasantness on your face, and that was what was motivating. Thank you.
I'm blessed. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, teacher. Okay, Sandeep sir, shall we move on to the official vote of thanks? Here, I think Mrs. Julie Ruben from St. Mary's HS Pioneer here with us to propose the vote of thanks. I welcome you, dear Julie teacher.
Thank you, sister. Am I audible?
Yes, teacher, you are audible.
Okay. Respected Provincial Superior, Reverend Sister Veena, Education Counselor, Reverend Sister Binsi, Principal of Earthline School, Pariyaram, Reverend Sister Litty, respected resource person, Mr. Prasid Prasad, sir, Honorable HMs and Principals of various educational institutions under UMI, my beloved Earthline Earthline educators, and other faculties of Ratnasagar Publications. Good day to all. Gratitude is the best attitude. Feeling gratitude and not expressing it is like wrapping a present and not giving it. Hence, I take this opportunity to put my gratitude into words. Right at this outset, it gives me immense pleasure and profound privilege to extend word of thanks on this splendid occasion. Firstly, I must mention our deep sense of appreciation and gratitude to our education counselor, Reverend Sister Bincy, who welcomed the gathering like a charming gardener who made our soul blossom. Sister, we know that you are always on wheels and your days of hard work did bear much fruit today. We thank you wholeheartedly, dear sister. Next, I wish to extend my sincere thanks to Reverend Sister Litty, Principal of Ursuline Secondary School, Senior Secondary School, Pariyaram, who provided us essential information about our resource person. Thank you, dear sister, for the introduction. Now, I wish to express my sincere and heartfelt gratitude to our Provincial Superior, Reverend Sister Veena, who felicitated and graced this occasion with her valuable presence. Sister, you are our lighthouse who foresees the challenges faced by the Ursuline educators and guides us to safe destination by making the right choice of personalities for updating us. Thank you, sister, for igniting and inspiring us with your words of wisdom, which radiated a source of energy within us. And next, I wish to express my profound gratitude to Mr. Prasid Prasad, Faculty of Ratnasagar Publishers, for making excellent presentations, exploring wide range of opportunities amidst the challenges. Sir, we are really enlightened with your knowledge and presence. We consider ourselves fortunate in attending this training session, and we assure you that we will definitely incorporate the approaches and the techniques to maintain professional competence and cross all barriers and strive for success. We are highly indebted to you, sir, as you took out your valuable time of your busy schedule, and we thank you from the inner core of my heart. Next, I express my sincere gratitude to all the principals and headmistress as well, for your encouragement and constant support, and also thank all the teachers for participating actively and enthusiastically in this session. And finally, I wish to thank all the organizers and Mr. Sandeep and other faculties of Ratnasagar Publishers who have directly and indirectly contributed to the resounding success of this webinar. Thank you once again, one and all. Thank you.
Thank you, Julie teacher. Thank you very much. Sir, I think we are reaching time. Sandeep sir, you want to share anything? Thank you very much for powering this session for us on behalf of Ratnasagar Publishers. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Sister Lindsay, and thanks for giving us opportunity from Ursuline Group that we can come and give the session for you, all the teachers, respectively. Thank you for your valuable time. Thank you. We always be there with all the support from our side.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay, sir.
I can
proceed, sir.
Yeah, I can play the national anthem with that.
Yes,
Can we find it?
yes. I think anybody else want to share anything more? Any teachers? If not, we will conclude. I thank on behalf of Ursuline Educational Agency. I thank each and every one of you, especially all the principals, our Reverend Sister Veena, and each and every one of you for making this program successful. Thank you one and all.
I'll
Yes,
play the
sir.
national
We shall
anthem.
conclude with national anthem.
हिमाचल यमुना गंगा
उच्छल जलधि तरंग तव शुभ नाम जागे तब शुभ आशीष मांगे गाहे तव जय गाथा
जन गण मंगल नायक जय हे
भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे
Sister, I'll end the program now.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Once again.
Actually,
Thanks. Yeah.
feedback, a link for feedback is given shared in the group, HMs and principals group. They will forward to teachers group and they can fill it in. Okay, sir. I'll give you the pie diagram.
Fine, fine. Yeah.
Okay, sir.
Yes. So thank you very much,
Thank you.
dear
Thank you, sir.
participants. Thank you,
Bye.
Sandeep, sir.
Bye.
Yeah.
Bye.
Thank you, Sister Bensi. God bless you all. Thank you.
Okay, God bless you all.